Nowadays, getting better at basketball can be confusing, overwhelming, and leave you with lots of questions. In today's video, I'll answer the most common beginner basketball questions so you can get better today. The first beginner basketball question is, what should I focus on first? What you want to make sure you're focusing on is the fundamentals and the basics of basketball. Way too many beginner basketball players try to jump right in and do the fancy moves they see on TV. But instead, you should try your best to stick with those fundamental moves, like shooting and dribbling with both hands and with good form. Stick with the fundamentals before making it more advanced. The next beginner question is, how do I improve my shooting accuracy? And to this, it really comes down to one word. That word is reps. You see, the more you practice a skill in life or in basketball, the better it becomes. So the best way to improve your shooting accuracy is, well, to shoot more. So go outside, maybe it's a shooting routine or a lot of form shooting. But in general, the more practice you put in shooting with good proper form, the better your shooting accuracy will become. Another great question is, what's the best way to practice dribbling? For this, I would say you want to look into freestyle dribbling. As I was a beginner myself, one of my favorite ways was to grab a basketball, head outside, and set a timer for 30 seconds or a minute. What you simply want to do is to try to dribble off of instinct. In a game, you're going to have to react to a defender. So by dribbling and doing random moves whenever you see fit, you're forcing your brain and your body to be creative in your dribble moves. Another common question is, what type of basketball shoes should I buy? And nowadays, there are so many options to choose from. What you really want to look for is shoes that have great comfort and support. Just because a basketball shoe has a $300 price tag does not mean that it will make you 300 times better at basketball. Another common question is, how do I get better at defense? When it comes to defense, you want to make sure that you're staying low, you have your hands out so that you can get in the passing lanes and deflect potential passes, and also you want to give your best effort. A lot of players don't realize that defense is a lot of hustle and effort. If you have the will and you're motivated and determined to stop the player in front of you, the odds that you stop the player in front of you are a lot higher. Another question, what are the rules I have to know as a beginner basketball player? And for this, there are three main things. Number one is fouling an offensive player, which means that you're swiping or creating contact with them as they're going to shoot a layup or shoot a jump shot. The second one is a double dribble, which is dribbling with both hands. Remember, you can only dribble with one hand at one time. And the last one is a travel, which is picking up the basketball and taking more than 2 steps with it. Familiarize with yourself with the basketball rules, so that way it's easier to play with your friends and on the court. Now, when it comes to improving each of your basketball skills individually, beginners have a hard time finding drills, and so they always ask, well, Josh, what are some great beginner basketball drills? And there are 2 that I highly recommend you check out. The first one being the form shooting drill, and the second one being the Mikan drill. These are great fundamental basketball drills that will help you strengthen your finishing and your shooting. And make sure you subscribe so that you can see my demo of these drills in the future. Another awesome question is, well, Josh, how do I know which basketball size is best for me? In general, a 27.5-inch basketball is best used for players age 5 to 12. The 28.5-inch basketball is best used for players that are ages 9 to 12. And finally, the 29.5-inch basketball is best for players that are 12 years of age and older. So try to find out which basketball is best for you and most comfortable. One of the most frequently asked questions I get from basketball players is, well, Josh, how much should I practice each day? And as a beginner, it's very important that you listen up. A lot of trainers out there will throw around the word of consistency and being consistent. That's right, but at the same time, you don't want to start overdoing it in your basketball journey. I would say start with 5 or 10 minutes a day, consistent enough to where you can start progressing and seeing results in your basketball training. You don't have to go out there and do an hour, 7 days a week as you're first picking up the basketball or trying to improve your shooting. Over time, we'll get there, but just give me 5 or 10 minutes to start, and that's all you really need to do, consistently enough to see some good results. So I recently asked my subscribers here on YouTube if they had any questions for this video, and I received 2 really important questions that I think you're going to want to hear. And if you want to see your questions answered in a future video, be sure to comment them under this video. The first question is, what are some ways to find motivation to improve and to keep that motivation improving all the time? And the first key here is that you want to mix up your training. Sometimes the same drills become boring and we get used to them, so they're not challenging anymore. Well, maybe instead of the Mikan drill, now you're doing the Mikan drill, but with opposite hands. Maybe instead of the form shooting drill, you're taking a step or 2 back or shooting from a different angle or with new footwork. Try some interesting and new variations on your basketball drills, and it might provide that new ounce of motivation that you're looking for. Another great way to stay motivated is to track your progress. Maybe this means journaling how you feel after each workout, or setting a goal or an intention for each workout. Like when I go outside, I'm gonna make 100 free throws. And now you can hold yourself accountable, because when you're at 90 free throws and you're feeling like you wanna go in, the discipline in you can help you power through and make those last final 10. To find a way to stay motivated in basketball is to rest and recover. I know I talk all the time about sleep and eating right, but aside from those things, sometimes all your body or brain needs is just a day away from basketball. My final question from a subscriber was, how long does it take to get good at basketball if you consistently practice and play every day? And my first response to that was, well, what's your definition of good? You see, every basketball player has a definition of good. For some, it's making the NBA. For some, it's playing college basketball. For some, it's making their varsity high school basketball team. But it's going to change for everyone. So what I really want you to do here is to focus on being consistent, like you said, and don't worry about the definition of good. Worry about the definition of becoming the best basketball player you can be. Push yourself to your limits. Work out the best you can. Control what you can control, and see where that takes you. Become the best basketball player you can be, and don't worry about becoming good. If you have any additional questions, comment them down in the comments below. Subscribe for more videos like this, and watch my next video here.